Zack Snyder's take on Batman has always been controversial. Recently, he went on a podcast and spoke about his views on Batman killing, and I actually think he posed an interesting scenario. What if you put Batman in a situation where he has to kill? For the record, I'm someone who firmly believes Batman shouldn't kill. At least not in your main continuity. And we'll get to that distinction later on. But I think his firm no-kill rule is actually his most interesting attribute. It's what separates him from someone like the Punisher. It makes his interactions and battles with his villains so complex and dynamic. And it also creates a valuable lesson for him to teach his mentees. But I do wonder, what actually would happen if you put him in a scenario where he has to kill? And I'm not talking about him killing regularly, just to be clear. Snyder posed the scenario of the Kobayashi Maru in Star Trek, where you put the lead character in a no-win scenario to see how they react. Now, in that scenario, Kirk apparently rigs it to win. And that's of course a really cool thing for your lead character to do. Find a way to win even when it seems impossible. But what if we took an Elseworlds Batman, an Elseworlds Bruce Wayne, and put him in a no-win scenario? And let's even make it an animated movie, because animation is the best form of storytelling ever. What if we start the movie that way? What if that Batman had to choose between killing a bad guy, maybe even a no-name bad guy, or not stopping him, which could cause a kid's parents to die? I don't know, maybe his utility belt was lost earlier in the night and he only has one of the villain's guns next to him, like that famous scene from Batman Beyond. And I know, in a perfect world, much like Kirk in the Kobayashi Maru, Batman would and should find a way out. But just hear me out for a second. What would the aftermath be of Batman killing someone? There is a Justice League Unlimited episode where Deadman takes over Batman's body, grabs a gun, and kills a guy. The immediate aftermath is a terrified and obviously very upset Batman. But what if he was the one who had to make that choice? You could spend the movie doing a character study about a man who was forced to betray his morality. Maybe he quits being Batman for most of the film, and it has an effect on Gotham. Are the villains hiding and afraid of Batman even more? Is the Joker concerned about him? How does Commissioner Gordon feel? It could be so powerful to watch Bruce have conversations with the people he loves, and even visiting his parents' grave with the fear that he's let them down. Maybe he talks to Superman about leaving the Justice League. How does the man who is prepared for everything deal with being lost? You could get an internal hero's journey to see Bruce build himself back up with the help of his family and friends. I think that could be a pretty powerful story focusing on Bruce, because he's always been worried that if he kills, then he's no better than the criminals. But what if he's wrong? What if it's even worse than that? What if it breaks him? That is a scenario in which Batman killing could possibly work for me. Now, here's the problem. Snyder didn't really do that. I have watched both the theatrical and Ultimate Edition of Batman vs. Superman. I actually own the Ultimate Edition. I'm pretty sure Batman starts killing once Superman is introduced into the world. And the problem is, there's no real exploration of the internal ramifications for Bruce once he starts killing. Like, Alfred kinda mentions it here and there. In the Ultimate Edition, Clark sees people talking about it in Gotham and they seem more scared of Batman. But it's not the level of exploration that I would want if you're gonna put him in that scenario. And if we're being honest, he's only in one scenario where he has to kill someone. The rest of the movie, he's just actively choosing to do so because, I don't know, I guess it's easier than any other option? And then, I guess after Superman's death, he sort of stops in Justice League? And in that podcast interview, he does go on to say that he loves what Frank Miller did by, and I'm quoting here, ripping Batman in half and deconstructing him and subverting the character. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like The Dark Knight Returns. I even own a copy of the comic. But I think the issue with going the route of Frank Miller's portrayal is Snyder's Batman was the main continuity Batman of the DC movie universe. Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman was an Elseworlds story. To me, once you take a core character in your main universe and fundamentally change them through that deconstruction from the well-known established traits the character has within your first two movies of that universe, you kinda completely changed what the audience has come to that movie for. These characters are some of the most famous in all of fiction. Doing something that deconstructing and that quickly with your main continuity of that character kind of breaks everything. And on top of that, I don't think the execution was handled in a way that would make audiences really interested in that subversion. I know there's a group of fans who loved Snyder's take, but instead of intriguing a majority of the audience, it broke them. Ultimately, Zack Snyder is an artist who I respect for having his own taste and unique voice for his projects. I just don't personally enjoy or agree with his takes on these characters. And that's okay. Not everyone's takes are gonna sit well with you. Just like it's okay that maybe a person watching this video may not enjoy my take on that possible Elseworlds movie I pitched earlier. I just think that what Zack Snyder said was undeniably an interesting scenario. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave it a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. This wasn't a video that I planned on making, obviously, because I didn't know Snyder was going to be talking about his version of Batman this week, but I listened to the podcast and what he said, and it made me want to talk about it. And I figure, why not try something new here and not talk about a movie, but instead talk about a take on a character in movies. If you enjoyed this type of video, please let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more, let me know. And let me know what your thoughts were on what Zack Snyder said. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Be well, and I'll see you again next time.